and welcome back, my fairies. I am Matsurific, and it is time, you guys. We are back with Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir Season 5, Episode 25. It is the first part of the finale of the Hawkmoth arc. Yeah, it's finally time, and I don't know why my avatar's eyes are going all wonky. But, yeah, it's finally time! So, for those of you who are new to this channel, first of all, welcome. The way we do things around here is, I like to do art instead of showing clips because it avoids YouTube's copyright system, and we also like to talk about what we know about the episode first before jumping into the episode. So, what we know is quite a bit, but also not a lot. We got one single trailer for the finale, and that was about it. We know that, obviously from the last episode, we know that Adrian is still being affected by the nightmare power. So he's still having those nightmares about turning into Chat Blanc, and basically killing everyone, destroying everything, and even killing Ladybug. We know that Plague is going to take his Miraculous and head back to Paris, whether it's because Adrian gives up his Miraculous, or because Plague basically has to. Unless, of course, Kagami and Adrian are allowed to speak, and Kagami's able to say, by the way, your father is Monarch, and then he's like, oh shoot, Plague, I need you to take the ring back. That could also be another reason for it. We will find out today. We also know that Marinette is going to get a hold of the ring, and she's going to use both Miraculous. She's going to combine. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of name she gets, because Lady Noir is already the name that she uses when she's just using the Cat Miraculous. So, what exactly will be the name here? Are you going to, like, how do you combine Ladybug and Lady Noir? It's like, is it, how? Noir Bug? Maybe? Bug Noir? That'll be interesting. And we also know that Gabriel is actually going to get the Miraculous and make a wish. Well, somebody is anyways. But we see in the trailer that Gabriel is, right there, and that the sanctuary is destroyed, and that there's a wish being made. So it's either him or Baronet. We'll see. I'm honestly kind of hoping she's able to get the wish made. For one thing, I don't want Gabriel knowing that she's also Marinette. Yeah, that would be really bad for Gabriel to find out that his two most hated people in all of Paris are actually the same person. It's like, oh, my mortal enemy from the past year is also the girl that my son has fell in love with without my permission. So, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I meant by, we know a bit about the episode, but we also don't know much about it, which is just how trailers should be. So the thing that is unknown is what's going to happen in this episode versus next episode. But I will be continuing to split this up, so episode 26 will be its own review, mainly because I have a feeling this is going to be a long one, and YouTube doesn't really like longer videos. Shorter videos tend to do better in the algorithms, so I figure it's better to go ahead and split things up. And what better way to split things up than with a split artwork? So the artwork you're going to see over here today is just going to be the sketch, line art, and coloring. And then the rest of it will be done next part. I made sure to go all out with the artwork. You can see the finished piece over on my community tab. So if you want to see the full thing, go ahead and check that out. Episode 26 review should be out tomorrow. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and dive right in, and I will be right back. All right, well, that got my heart racing. So, yeah, quite a bit happened. First off, oh my goodness. So, wow, okay, I can't even get my thoughts together from that. So first off, I will say that I'm a little bit confused as to a few things. In the trailer review that I did, I mentioned that I was a bit confused as to why she wouldn't have gone straight for Monarch. Like, the only thing I could think of was maybe that she needed to rest or something from having a long night. But then it seems like she just completely forgets that Gabriel is Monarch for a minute there. So the episode starts off with a news report that it's finally summer vacation. It's the first day of summer break. And there are fake images of Adrian and Kagami arriving in London and acting like a happy couple. Obviously, it's those models that they scanned in for the Alliance, so they can pretty much make any fake image they want. So Nadia is reporting that they are both back modeling now. So it's like, okay, so Adrian is back into modeling and Kagami is modeling now too. And then we see this ad that plays, and then we see Kagami, who's watching this and just like throws her shoe at it because they're using her image without her consent. It's like, yeah, Kagami doesn't really seem like the type who would want to be a model. She seems pretty dedicated to her fencing, but she also loves to draw. It's like, yeah, she doesn't really see the type who would enjoy being a model, and obviously nobody would want to see a fake version of themselves that people are fawning over and can make say whatever they want to say. But yeah, she and Adrian are still in solitary confinement. And then we switch over to Gabriel, who's in his lair talking with Tomoe, and he goes ahead and transforms back into, I still can't remember his name, but the same villain that he was in the last episode. And he uses the powers, he uses multiple powers to basically miniaturize with the power of the mouse, and then travels all over the world with the power of the horse so that he can spread his nightmare dust. That is actually what they call it. And yeah, it's an interesting term. Kind of hoping they change that in the English version, because yeah, that's Anyways, he spreads the nightmare dust all over the world, and even infects Adrian and Kagami, giving them nightmares. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to infect the entire world with nightmares, and then introduce this cure that we've created, which is just this app that, you know, gives you reaffirming thoughts and allows you to calm down, but it's addicting. And they know that it's going to be addicting. That's part of the plan, because the plan is for the entire world to get so addicted to this thing that they become dependent on it. And then when it's gone, it's just like, okay, well, now everyone's going to freak out. Which is a really good plan. It takes human psychology into account, and that's when we see Marinette's dream. So yeah, at first I thought this was just a dream, but this is actually just a nightmare that she's having, where she goes to save Adrian in this ladybug-inspired armor. And at first it's like, okay, this seems more like a dream. But then she gets attacked by this dragon, which then turns into Gabriel when she slashes at it, and she ends up killing him. Well, he disappears, but it's basically supposed to be like, oh yeah, she killed him, just in a family-friendly way. And then Adrian in the dream starts freaking out because Marinette just killed his father right in front of him, and how dare she? which causes Marinette to wake up. So her nightmare is basically that she's going to go and save Adrian, but accidentally kill Gabriel in the process. But she just chalks it up to being a really bad dream. And then when she goes downstairs, she decides that she's gonna go and, try to find Adrian. And so she goes downstairs and she's like, okay, I'm gonna, do what I can. I could try to talk to Nathalie because Adrian said that she was always kind to him and supported him. So she decides to head over to Adrian's to talk to Nathalie. But that's when her parents stop her. And Tom is like obsessed with making sure that Marinette eats something. And Sabine is, trying to calm him down. And it turns out that Tom's nightmare was that Marinette was so upset over Adrian being gone that she stopped eating and then ends up shrinking down to the point where a mouse is able to eat her. It's like, the first part of that is actually kind of realistic because, a lot of people, when they're like super depressed like that, they can start developing, that's actually one of the causes of eating disorders. And also he's a baker, so it makes sense that that would be his reaction. Whereas Sabine's nightmare was that Tom was so upset over Marinette being upset that he got akumatized, which explains why she was, doing everything she could to calm him down and let Marinette go. And then when Marinette walks outside, she doesn't overhear them talking about their nightmares, but Marinette goes outside and now Alia tells her that she had a nightmare, that Monarch is after her and knows that she knows who Ladybug is and that he's going to try to get her to tell him who she is and to betray them, to give him the miraculous. Which Marinette's, this is the, she didn't hear what her parents said. So even though, she's concerned about Alia, she also decides, okay, well, I still need to go and talk to Nathalie. And then after we find out where Adrian is, I'll go check on Alia. And so she shoves this giant bag of croissants that Tom gave her into the back of her scooter. And by the time she arrives, Tiki has not only eaten the entire bag of croissants, but she's also eaten the bag. The bag is completely gone. There's nowhere to be seen when Marinette opens up the storage compartment. So it's like, wow, Tiki, I guess the sweet tooth monster really did attack there. So they arrive at the Agrest house, and then we switch over back to Adrian, who is, who just had the nightmare of, destroying Paris as Chat Blanc. Although I think it was like enemy, shot rival or shot villain or something. But Monarch comes in and is like, I'm going to akumatize you, and it's like, isn't he already akumatized of the nightmare? It's a nightmare. It's not supposed to make sense. It's just supposed to traumatize you. That gets Adrian to start freaking out. And Gabriel is like, okay, well, we've reached I think it was like 95, 98% of distribution, so it's time to start they were saying it's time to start the antidote. And the antidote is what, I mentioned that before, that it's like super addicting. Adrian at first doesn't want to use it because, it's just his father trying to control him again. So he tosses the Alliance, and then Plague comes out and is like, Adrian goes on a tirade about how much of a monster his father is, and Plague is like, yeah, it's a pretty accurate description of your father. I love Plague. And Adrian tells Plague to hide, and Plague is like, oh, well, need I remind you that, I can't be filmed and no one can hear it's like, my voice can't be recorded, I can't be filmed because I'm a Kwami. And Plague is like really trying to get Adrian to transform, But Adrian's like, no, I can't. I'm being filmed. So Plug is like, okay, well, I'll just take care of that real quick. And he goes through the walls and unplugs the camera. To which Gabriel is like, oh, Tsurugi-san, can you go activate the camera on the robot in my son's room? So it's like, yeah, just kind of proving the fact that, there's no way to avoid getting filmed by Gabriel. And that's when and he tries to give Adrian another alliance. And Adrian's like, no. So he turns the alliance on full blast and puts it back on the thing to try to annoy his father. So Gabriel's like, okay, I'll just turn the volume down. But now Adrian is being annoyed by it, like constantly trying to get him to download the app. Plag is still trying to get Adrian to transform, but then Adrian tells him that, if he transforms like this and goes back to Paris, there's a chance he could get akumatized, and he doesn't want that to happen. So he gives up his ring and finally puts on the alliance. But based on the monitor, it looks like Kagami has already started using it as well. So she used it before Adrian, which I find odd because she knows that Gabriel is Monarch because she was hanging out with Felix. So why would she trust this ring? She knows that Gabriel is Monarch. But I guess, just that desperate to have the nightmare end. And then, their friends start putting them on too. So then we switch back to Marinette, who transforms into Ladybug to go into the Agrest house. And then we see Nathalie. We finally get an explanation for why Nathalie looked like she was perfectly fine in the trailer for a moment there. It turns out that this is Nathalie's nightmare. Her nightmare is, seeing Gabriel's plan getting put into action, and for Gabriel to actually get the miraculous and make his wish. She then wakes up from the nightmare, and she starts trying to record a video for Adrian, but then she gets the alert for the cure, and she's like, oh gosh, it's already begun, and decides that she has to do something. So Marinette sneaks in through Adrian's room, but then she overhears Nathalie in the hallway, so she sneaks over to Nathalie's room. Meanwhile, Plag is on his way back to Paris with the ring. And then we get to see everyone starting to basically lose it because of the nightmare cure. So we see Tom and Sabine. They're, super, super relaxed and chilled, watching these videos of Adrian and Kagami doing things that calm the two of them down, like Tom and Sabine. And we start to see the hypnotic effects that the app is having on them. And it's also, and then they also start saying about how Adrian and Kagami are a perfect pair. Yeah. Which, I guess, was part of their plan, because Gabriel and Tomoe did mention that, this was part of their plan to get their children to finally get together. So then we go back to Ladybug, and she is going around Nathalie's room, and she starts looking around, and she starts noticing things. She finds she finds Master Fu's tablet, and then she finds Nathalie's tablet and sees that there is sees that there's images from the grimoire. She sees, all the apps and stuff that we've seen her use in the past to monitor their friends. So yeah, we see everything that we saw back in Optigami, which was a nice callback to Optigami. And while she's looking around, we also cut back to Plag again, and he goes to Marinette's house looking for her to give the ring to her, but he can't find her. So he goes up to her room, and he notices a picture of Marinette with her friends at the Liberty, including Zoe. And at first I'm like, oh, is he thinking about Zoe? Does he miss her? But then he notices Alia in the picture. So we find out later that he was looking at Alia in the picture and has decided that he's going to give the ring to Alia. Which, honestly, I kind of want to see Alia with the Cat Miraculous now. Gabriel is satisfied seeing both Adrian and Kagami getting addicted to the cure and decides it's time to move on to the next phase. We then cut to everybody at the Liberty, and Mylène comes along and is like, oh, she's gonna tell everybody. She starts telling everybody about the nightmare that she had, and everybody tells her, oh, it's fine, Mylène, go ahead and put on an alliance and download the app. It makes you feel so good, so chilled. And Mylène is like, no, I refuse to use that thing that, was made with no respect to the Earth's resources. And then she sees that even Ivan is using one, because he had a nightmare that Mylène left him to go take care of a polar bear. And she tries to comfort him and says that she would never do that she'll always be with him. But she can't get anyone to remove the alliances, and she starts suspecting that something is wrong with it. But everybody's like, oh no, it's fine, Gabriel, this was made by Gabriel Agreste, and he just wants to help us find a way to stop Monarch and help Ladybug and Cat Noir. You should just put one on, he's a comrade. You'll forget about your nightmares and negative emotions. And Mylène almost gives into it. She's like, okay, well, if it'll keep me from getting akumatized. So she's about to put one on. And that's when Gabriel and Tomoe are looking at the statistics and realize that, a bunch of people are starting to, like they're at like 95, 98% downloads. But then that's when Gabriel overhears something going wrong in the sanctuary. So he goes down to check on Emily because there's a lot of alarms going off. And that's when Nathalie comes out of the bushes with a crossbow. She is ready to end this man, and I do not blame her. She knows he is cray. He is nutso, and she cannot let him change the world. She even reminds us of what will happen if he does what he's going to do. That his wish would end up sacrificing another person to bring Emily back, and that Emily would not want that. And then Gabriel tries to manipulate her, be like, do you think I'd be so monstrous as to sacrifice another human being? I thought you knew me better than that. And he comes up to her with this big old creepy smile on his face and then attacks her and manages to get the crossbow away from her. Nathalie then collapses, and Ladybug overhears them coming, so she hides. And this is the part where she was hiding. I thought she would be hiding in the sanctuary, but it's just in Nathalie's room. And she overhears Gabriel talking about, their plan with the alliance and everything, and how Nathalie was complacent in Adrian's defiance and his relationship with Marinette. He calls it a fling. And then transforms into Monarch, and Ladybug gasps as if she didn't find out his identity the last episode. She acts like this is some big revelation that Gabriel Agreste is Monarch. It's like, girl, you were just told that last episode. What, did you seriously think it was just a dream? Oh my gosh. Girl, Felix already told you this. What is wrong with you? He transforms, and she's about to send Cat Noir a text to let him know that Gabriel Agreste is Monarch, but for some reason decides not to send it. I don't know why she didn't send it. She should still have sent it. girl, why didn't you send that? It's like, yes, you're gonna go check on Nathalie, but you were literally a centimeter away from the send button. Just hit the send button and go check on Nathalie. Like, do not repeat Monarch's mistake from the second episode. He had the thumb drive in the past. His hand was through the portal. It was right there. And he decides to pull out and go chase after Ladybug. Like, just drop it there and then go after. It literally takes you a millisecond to just drop it. But anyways, so Ladybug goes to check on Nathalie, and Nathalie tells her, you're in danger, the whole world is in danger. He's going to send everybody after you and Cat Noir. You need to de-transform. And she also, Nathalie, Monarch, or Ladybug is like, I'll take you to the hospital, and that's when Nathalie tells her, I'm beyond medicine. And she tells her that, about using the broken peacock miraculous, which, upsets Ladybug. It's like, oh no, this is the one positive adult figure that Adrian had in his life, and now she's dying. There's nothing that anyone can do about it. And then they hit you with the feels. I will not deny, I actually cried here. Nathalie died. Nathalie died on screen. She passed away right in front of Ladybug. And it's like, oh my gosh, no. No, that is, Okay, anyways, we move on to the final part of their plan. There is an image of Ladybug and Cat Noir that basically interrupts the broadcasts of Adrian and Kagami, where they come in and kidnap Adrian and Kagami, angry that they're keeping people from getting comatized because that's Ladybug and Cat Noir's job, and how dare you do that? You really think you could protect people better than we can? To get everyone else to basically think that Ladybug and Cat Noir just kidnapped Kagami and Adrian, which has everybody basically shocked, and we get images from basically everybody, but not just the people that we've met in Paris, but we also get to see Jess, aka Eagle, and also, I can't remember her name right now, but the girl who was Lady Dragon. So yet another bit of continuity there that, yay, the specials did happen. Actually, I'm gonna check it really quick to see if we could see Aeon. I don't remember her disguised form name. No, they don't show her. But we do also get to see Marinette's uncle, Master Chang, and we also see Amelie as well. So everybody's reacting to Ladybug and Cat Noir kidnapping Adrian and Kagami. Oh, you know what? I bet you the reason why we don't see Aeon is because she's an android and therefore probably doesn't have nightmares. So she probably went, because she's not human, so I could see why she might not have been affected by it. I do hope that she comes with Eagle to Paris, because there was a spoiler image that we would see Lady Dragon and Eagle in the finale. So I assume that'll be next episode, because that doesn't happen this episode. But seeing those two in this just makes me think that that image is real, and that'll probably be next episode. But seeing as how we see them transformed, they probably are going to say, no, I know Ladybug and Cat Noir, and they wouldn't do that. Also, Eagle, Jess probably remembers that, Adrian and Marinette were a thing. So she might not even believe that Adrian and Kagami are a couple. Same for Marinette's uncle. But anyways, so yeah, everybody reacts to that, including their friends, who are like just completely shocked and like and scared. Like, oh my gosh, Ladybug and Cat Noir kidnapped Adrian Kagami? What's going on? And Nadia even reports on it and shows like an evil image of Ladybug and Cat Noir. He's like looking all sinister and evil. And then everybody starts, freaking out and everything. But then Alia is like, no, Ladybug would never do that. And honestly, I think it helps here that she knows that Ladybug is Marinette, because she knows better than anyone that Marinette would not do this. She knows that Ladybug and Cat Noir wouldn't do this. And as she's trying to get everybody to calm down, she notices Plagg as well. She manages to convince everyone to take off their alliances and to trust in Ladybug, which they all do except for Ivan. So then we get to see the next part of the plan. And Gabriel sucks all of the Kwamis into the console, and he uses the magical charm that was given to him as Gabriel aggressed, as well as, they call it cataclysm dust, just, from his hand, because it's being affected by the cataclysm. And the console is able to use the magical charm and the cataclysm dust to track Ladybug and Cat Noir. So he puts those on the console, like the charm and also his hand, and then basically reaches out to everybody through the Alliance and says that, Ladybug and Cat Noir have kidnapped, his son and Kagami, and asking everybody for help with getting his son back. And basically tells everyone to say the transformation phrase, transforme-moi. Of course, it's a different phrase here. Yeah, he transforms everybody into his minions. And so they all transform, and then Ivan, who still is wearing the Alliance, also transforms in front of everybody. And they're all trying to take care of him. They're, trying to get his Alliance off, hopefully taking off the Alliance will also de-transform him, which would make sense because removing a miraculous will de-transform a person. So, yeah, hopefully that works. So they, do that to take care of Ivan. And meanwhile, the rest of the world is getting transformed and starts targeting Ladybug. Their alliances will actually tell them where she is. So they're actually able to track her thanks to the Alliance. And then, of course, everybody is able to use the power of the horse, because all of the miraculous are now being connected to the alliances. So it's called soldiers. The soldiers arrive inside of the house using using the horse miraculous power, because they can detect that Ladybug is there thanks to the magical charm. And they start teleporting inside to try and attack her, try and paralyze her using venom, and take her miraculous from her. She manages to fight back for a while, and then she remembers what it was that Nathalie said, that, to de-transform. Plagg also, almost forgot, Plagg tried to talk to Alia, and Alia tells him that, she can't use the miraculous because A, she knows who Ladybug is, and while she's being affected by these nightmares, there's a chance she could get akumatized, so it's too dangerous. So Plagg decides to go and find Marinette after all, and then he sees the soldiers that are teleporting and looking for Ladybug. So he follows one of the soldiers through the portal and winds up back inside and follows Marinette, Ladybug, who realizes that what Nathalie meant was that she's only safe if she de-transforms. So Plagg so she goes into the kitchen and hides in a cupboard to de-transform. And that's when the soldiers are all like, wait, where'd she go? We have to go find Ladybug. And they all leave. And that's when Gabriel realizes that, well, she's probably still here in the house. So I'm going to go look for her and deal with her myself. Plag then, follows Marinette into the kitchen, and Marinette tells him that Gabriel is Monarch, which shocks Plag. He's like, my gosh, my Holder's father was Monarch. I knew he was trash, but seriously? And Tiki even gives him the knowing nod, like, yeah, it's true. It's like, yeah, he is. But, anyways, so that's when Ladybug decides that she's going to go ahead and take the ring. Monarch comes along and manages to pull her out, and he now realizes that Marinette was Ladybug. He sees her as like, Marinette Dupenchang? And she's like, nope. She kicks him and transforms with both of the miraculous. And turns out, yes, her name is Bug Noir. Which is like, I was saying that before. It was either going to be Noir Bug or Bug Noir. So, we get Bug Noir. And that is where the episode ends. Oh my goodness. Yep. So just a flurry of emotions, which one would expect from the finale of the arc. It's like, obviously this is not the series finale because the show was renewed for a couple more seasons. So we will be getting a season 6 after this. So the happily ever after is not going to be right after this episode. So obviously there's going to be more. I really hope we get to see some of the villains that Bunnix told them about, future Bunnix. But anyways, so yeah, the episode ends there. So yeah, this is a really good episode. Aside from the continuity errors, I'm guessing that this episode might have been written before the last episode. Because we got to see Gabriel's new transformation last episode, so that right there is some continuity. But other than that, the fact that they don't acknowledge the fact that Marinette should know that Gabriel is Monarch, it's like, why? It almost feels like they're saying that was a filler episode, that it's inconsequential, because they just pretty much ignored it. Like, literally, the only reason to watch the last episode was to see Adrian's nightmare. Well, I guess technically that right there is reason for that episode to exist, because it says, because it's like, okay, this is why Adrian is, so freaked out about his nightmare, because he's seen it before. He thinks that this is still the same nightmare from before. And it also explains why Adrian and Kagami are in solitary confinement like this. But I think you technically could skip episode 24 at this point. I don't like that, because episode 24 was really good. It was so good, and the backstory and everything, but they completely ignore it. They completely ignore the fact that it happened. Why? Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos from me. We do all sorts of fun stuff on this channel, including playing video games, we do art, and I'll sometimes talk about cartoons and anime. So if you enjoy this stuff, then be sure to ring that bell icon and never miss a video, especially tomorrow's review of episode 26. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I hope you all have a very magical day.